Back working on the 2020 ZX10, and well, we took it on its first ride. Like I said it would in the last video, where we installed everything up front here. And first thing I noticed right away is that there was a tiny wobble in the front end, and got super concerned that the frame was bent, which I'm still not 100% sure it's not. But put the bike up on the stands after taking it just up the driveway a little bit, and as you can tell, the rim has a slight bend in it right there. It's actually pretty hard to notice, but I definitely believe that is what I'm feeling. So with that rim on there, it's impossible to know if the bike rides smooth. So that is the risk you run when you buy used parts off of eBay, which is what I did with this rim. So sadly, we have to send this back, and that means that the project's gonna have there's gonna be a wait on parts again. So I had to order another rim, obviously, because this one I'm not gonna be able to use. So I'm gonna have to take the rotors off, take it back off the bike, send the rim back, and wait for the other one to arrive in the mail. So that's gonna be a couple more days, which sucks because we've been waiting on this upper triple to show up, and it's supposed to be in the mail tomorrow. And showing up in the mail today is the exhaust. So this bike would have essentially been rideable today or tomorrow at the very latest if this rim wasn't bent. So I don't think the seller realized it, 'cause it's a pretty slight bend, but you can definitely feel it when you ride the bike. So I'm gonna have to send this rim back, like I said, and wait on the first official ride until the new rim gets here. So kind of sucks, but I'm not gonna let it stop us, because like I said, we are getting the exhaust in the mail, and I have a few other parts still to throw on the bike. So one of them is some bar ends. I don't like these bar ends at all. I think they're quite ugly. And I know I have some spools, because these spools are ugly as well. So I know we can at least change out a couple little things here. Nothing major, but we can at least do that. And I'm really excited for the exhaust, because then I'll be able to hear the bike for the first time running good. So hopefully it runs good. So let's wait for that exhaust, throw these other little things on there, get ready to take this rim off, send it back, wait on parts again. Alrighty, what we got here is a brand new air ram piece that goes under the front stay right there. We got some new bar ends right here, spools, we got a guardian bell, because you gotta rock a guardian bell. And then what just showed up was the Graves exhaust. This is pretty cool. Showed up while I was unboxing the rest of the other stuff, so we're gonna have to get into this box. Definitely gonna have to check this thing out. Alright, so this is probably gonna be the first thing I install, because I was pretty excited to hear the bike run, and I haven't been able to hear it run properly because the exhaust it came with had a hole in it, the headers were damaged, and never had a good exhaust. So really want to throw this on there to hear the bike, and I want to hear this exhaust. It's a brand new, really nice Graves slip-on exhaust. Love this brand. Everything they make always sounds so good. After I throw that on there, then we'll get to these other little things, but let's get this on the bike. All right, we got that Graves slip-on cat eliminator thrown on there. Looks crazy. Looks real nice. I like that tucked look right there. I actually had to look up the instructions online because I didn't realize that that bracket goes behind the rear set, and Graves actually supplies, these are the original rear set bolts. They supply a little bit longer ones to make up for that space. It's actually kind of an interesting mount. I think that's really cool, super sleek. So now before we start the bike up, I want to go ahead and start on this ram air right here so we can have that installed, so I can throw that stay up there and have the gauge cluster up on the front. So let's get cracking on that, get that installed so we can get the bike running. Hear that Graves exhaust. All right, we now have the ram air installed through the fairing stay on with the cluster, mirrors. Yeah, I know this old broken piece is still on, the bike's still dirty, but we're still trying to make sure the bike rides straight, so not too worried about cleaning it up just yet. One thing I definitely do still have to order, or I did order that still has to come in, is this, like, it's like an air sensor. This one got broken bad in the crash. It's just missing its whole, there's a plug that's supposed to be underneath it, so, and there's like a hose connector that's broken, so I had to order that. So we're waiting on that little sensor. It's gonna come with one of those. I'll throw that on there. Still not sure if I'm keeping these mirrors. I might be able to clean them up. I think there's like a scuff on. Yeah, I feel like there's scuffing on them, so I'm not really sure if I want to keep them, but that's all in due time. So, and also the stay itself has a small crack right here, and I was thinking maybe I could try to repair that, but might want to replace that as well. So again, we're just trying to make sure the bike rides straight, and we're gonna have to wait on the rim for that, obviously, because that rim is bent, as well as the one I pulled off was destroyed. So now that we have that exhaust mounted up, we got the gauge cluster mounted up, I'm gonna be able to turn the bike on, see the gauge cluster, see the readings, and be able to hear it. So we're gonna do that in a second here. We're also going to go on installing that bell, these spools, these bar ends. But let's start this bike up and hear what it sounds like with this new exhaust first. All right, so when I go ahead and start the bike up, actually this is the first time it's really been ran for a while with the radiator installed, so it's gonna be interesting to see if the bike keeps its temperature. And another thing I'm curious about is this fan. Not entirely sure the fan's even good. Hoping the fan's good. I'd like it to get to the temperature where the fan kicks on, but not sure what that even is on these bikes, so take it one step at a time. But let's fire this thing up and let's hear it. This thing sounds crazy. It's shooting flames. I'm not really sure necessarily that's a good thing. I think the bike might need a tune now with the ECU, having that exhaust like that, because it breaks up a little bit in low RPMs. I took it for a tiny little ride, and it's definitely running, it's burning a lot of fuel. So definitely not sure if that's necessarily a good thing. So we're gonna have to look into possibly tuning the ECU with this thing. So, but we'll do what we have to do because that sounds insane. So love the way that thing sounds. Hope you guys like it too. Let's get on to adding these other little things here. Alright, our box has finally arrived from Kawasaki with the upper triple and the fairing third light right here. Two parts I've been waiting on for quite a while now, sadly. As I said, we're still waiting on a replacement tire for this replacement tire wheel because this wheel's bent. So still waiting on that to come in the mail. Should be here in a couple more days. Then I gotta send that one back, obviously. But we got this piece. We've been waiting on this for a long time. We're gonna be able to finally screw this back into the upper triple, get that mounted back on there correctly. It's got some bolts on the bottom that need to be screwed into the clip-ons here. So let's get that all disassembled and tighten this all down like it's supposed to be. And we do have the steering stabilizer over here. We're also gonna mount this back up, plug this thing back up in to the, plug it back into how it's supposed to be. We have the plug it has right there. Get that all plugged back in so it doesn't trip out the computer when you start it up like it's doing right now. Let's get all that wired up, installed, and then we'll be waiting on this wheel and then just waiting on the fairings. Alrighty, so we got that exhaust installed. We got front all put together. Got the gauge cluster, ram air, got the stabilizer, triple, everything tightened down like it's supposed to be. Got some bar ends on there. Threw that Guardian bell on there. Might change where I got that. Don't have too much left to do, but guess what showed up? There it is. That is the rim again. So you guys didn't have to wait very long. I had to wait a couple weeks. So this is hopefully it's gonna be what we need to get this bike running. Sadly, this is gonna be just a rim, so we're still waiting on the tire. So once that tire gets here in a couple days, we're gonna throw that tire on that rim, mount it to this bike, and hopefully this rim, again, it's a used one, hopefully this one is straight like it should be. It's gonna be what we need to finally get this bike where it should be, where I can take on its first official test ride and see if everything works like it should. So that's gonna be all in the next video, so stay tuned. I'm gonna get that tire in, get it installed on the bike, and then we're just gonna finish up a few little things, and then in a few weeks we'll have the plastics, and this bike hopefully will be done. So stay tuned, we're getting really close. Thanks for watching.